afternoon and welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner here with Eric Chilton on this Labor Day. Of course, this is an interactive show. We like to chat with you on our live streams on social media, and you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Well, President Donald Trump's campaign will make 3 stops in North Carolina this week, and one of those stops is in Winston-Salem tomorrow. The president will speak at Smith Reynolds Airport around 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Then on Wednesday, Eric Trump is the keynote speaker for a Make America Great Again event in High Point. That event starts at 6:30 at AA Stables. Finally, Donald Trump Jr. will speak at an event on Thursday in Hendersonville. That's at 3 p.m. at Point Look Vineyards. The president's stop in Winston-Salem tomorrow marks his 3rd trip to our state in just 3 weeks. WFMY News 2 will have live coverage of that event starting right here on your 4 to 5. Meanwhile, Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden's campaign is holding a North Carolina event on Tuesday. It's a virtual vote-by-mail rally. Stacey Abrams is the headline speaker. She'll be joined by North Carolina Senator Jeff Jackson and former Congresswoman Eva Clayton. You can join the virtual rally by RSVPing online.
And you know, anytime a president comes to the Triad, that's a big deal. But it made me start thinking, how many other presidents have been here over the years? And the answer is a lot. So I didn't find an exact number when I looked back through my research. But thanks to the Winston-Salem Journal's recent photo essay, we got a past visit through a gallery of all these presidential visits throughout the years. It gave us a general idea, and we have had a lot. Take a look. I love old photos. This is so cool. Let's go back in time to all these presidential visits, and the first one takes us to 1951. President Harry S. Truman. All the crowds were gathering at Smith Reynolds Airport in Winston-Salem, so excited about this. Truman actually lifted the first shovelful of dirt for the groundbreaking for Wake Forest campus in Winston-Salem. Now, just a year later, in 1952, we had President Dwight Eisenhower visit Winston-Salem as well. We were getting all types of celebrities here. Prior to becoming president, Lyndon B. Johnson made a stop in Winston-Salem. That was October 20th, 1960 that you're looking at there. Skip ahead a good bit. Richard Nixon made an appearance in Winston-Salem to speak to a crowd. That was June 28, 1989. In 1976, President Gerald R. Ford visited Winston-Salem, and you see him there speaking at Haynes Mall. In the 70s, we would see lots of presidential visits, especially Jimmy Carter, one of our favorites, the oldest living president for us right now. He shakes hands with crowds there after addressing Waite Chapel on the campus of Wake Forest concerning the Soviet threat. But he visited several times between March of 1978 and 1980. Ronald Reagan, we see him here conferring with then Senator Jesse Helms before speaking at the Benton Convention Center in Winston-Salem. That was in the mid-70s in 1976. And then Vice President George Bush toured the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company's Whitaker Park cigarette plant. That was in October of 1982. Former President Bill Clinton visited Wake Forest back in 2016 as he campaigned for his wife Hillary. And the day after his State of the Union pledge to defend America against terrorism, President Bush met with local first responders in Winston-Salem in January of 2002. And in 2010, President Barack Obama waves as he steps off of Air Force One, and you see Richard Burr behind him. Winston-Salem and the Triad have seen lots of presidential visits, and I love to go through those old photos. And if you'd like to see all those yourself, the entire photo gallery is on the Winston-Salem Journal's website, and I've linked you to that through this story on WFMYnews2.com. Lots of visits, Maddie. I think and that's only just a handful, right? There were plenty others.
Right, and you know what surprised me, Eric? I mean, you mentioned going all the way back in time. Not much has changed about presidential visits. The campaign rallies, I mean, it's a podium, a microphone, and a crowd of people there to listen to what the candidate or the president has to say. You see candidates and presidents visiting factories and industries here in the Triad, and it looks pretty much like it does now in 2020.
And it's also interesting when of course, this was the Winston-Salem Journal doing this. It wasn't any other city, but it was interesting to see how many Wake Forest had alone. A lot of presidents going to Wake Forest. Yeah, pretty cool there. All right, so let's talk about the election here. We are just weeks away from the November election, of course. A new CBS poll is taking a look at where President Trump and Democratic candidate Joe Biden stand on all the issues. Take a look.
President Trump held a Labor Day news conference to tout the economy.
We're currently witnessing the fastest labor market recovery from an economic crisis in history.
As long as the stock market's doing great, everything's okay as far as him, but everybody else is getting clobbered.
Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden met with labor leaders at a supporters' house in the swing state of Pennsylvania. The latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll shows Biden leading the president in a national poll of registered voters. But the president has the edge over Biden on who voters think would handle the economy best. Overall, registered voters see the economy as the biggest factor in the upcoming election, even as the coronavirus pandemic continues.
So we're going to have a vaccine very soon, maybe even before a very special date.
If I could get a vaccine tomorrow, I'd do it. He said so many things that aren't true. I'm worried if we do have a really good vaccine, people are going to be reluctant to take it.
Registered voters are expressing skepticism about a vaccine. A majority surveyed say they believe one available this year would be rushed through. The 2020 vice presidential contenders were both in the battleground state of Wisconsin this Labor Day. The president's narrow victory there in 2016 was key to his White House win. Vice President Mike Pence carried the president's economic message to an energy company in La Crosse.
We're opening up America again. And we're opening up America's schools.
Democratic vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris traveled to Milwaukee to meet with union leaders and black community leaders.
All of the workers that you trained over the years are doing all the essential work during the pandemic as well.
The president has campaign rallies scheduled this week in North Carolina and Michigan. Joe Biden is also expected to head to Michigan this week. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom says mail-in ballots will start going out to people next month. Election offices are sending mail-in ballots to every registered voter starting on October 5th. Now, North Carolina was the first state in the country to send out ballots, but to be clear, those were ballots that were requested by voters, and they started going out on Friday. Cybersecurity experts say mail-in ballots are safe to use. You know, they've been a big topic of conversation this election season after concerns that they could pose a security issue. Experts say mail-in and absentee ballots are safe to use because they have a paper trail that can be audited. Mail-in and in-person votes tally in similar ways, but not all electronic voting booths create a paper backup for every vote. Cybersecurity experts are now working with states to identify any possible election system vulnerabilities. Well, back here in the Triad, Greensboro's playgrounds will open tomorrow. They didn't open over the weekend, even after Phase 2.5 went into effect and allowed them to. City officials say they're installing new signs and barriers. Picnic shelters are reopening tomorrow as well, but outdoor basketball courts will not open up until Saturday. Also happening tomorrow, live lessons for Guilford County students will start. The first 3 weeks of lessons were recorded to help students get used to learning at home, but those live sessions start tomorrow and will happen for at least the next 6 weeks. You can find more information on your school's website or the GCS district website. Let's turn now to your 4 to 5 roundup. Governor Roy Cooper signed a bill that releases more than $1 billion for pandemic relief in our state. That money includes stimulus payments for parents, more than $300 for families with kids younger than 17. It also includes $50 additional a week in unemployment money. The package includes money for PPE in public schools, more funds for testing and tracing, and money for the State Board of Elections to get ready for voting. You can see a full breakdown on where that money is going, including the local programs that will get a boost on our website. Well, India surpassed Brazil as the country with the second highest number of confirmed COVID-19 cases. The nation reported more than 90,000 new infections on Monday. Both countries have more than 4 million confirmed cases. The United States remains the country with the highest number of recorded cases at 6 million, all of that according to Johns Hopkins. You likely remember earlier this summer when people started getting those unsolicited packages of seeds from China. Well, now Amazon is changing its policies to ban the sale of plants and seeds imported into the United States. Only sellers based in the U.S. can sell seeds to American customers moving forward. Those mystery seeds started arriving in mailboxes across the nation to people who had not ordered them. The Department of Agriculture says it appeared to be a brushing scam where sellers send items in order to post fake reviews and boost sales. And a wildfire in Southern California that destroyed 7,000 acres and forced 3,000 people to leave their houses was reportedly started after a pyrotechnic gender reveal. Fire officials say the El Dorado fire was started by a smoke-generating device used at a gender reveal party. The people responsible can be held both financially and criminally responsible. It's believed that device released either blue or pink smoke fireworks.
Well, it's time for us to talk about a forecast where temperatures are not that bad. We'll take 82, right? This time of the day, this time of the year, that will work. 85 in Burlington. Winston-Salem has an 82-degree reading as well, a high point up to 83. Now, Lexington and Asheboro at 81 and 82, respectively. Tonight, 62 will be your overnight low. We'll see mostly clear skies. It's a beautiful day. You will start to see humidity start to build in tomorrow. I think really once we get to midweek, our rain chances will go up a smidge, and you'll see kind of varying sky conditions as opposed to sunny during the day and a cloud up with a late day shower. Those rain chances are starting to go up a little bit. And again, the humidity moves back in. Chance of a stray storm as we head into tomorrow, but it's only about a 20%. When you go out to the wide shot here, you can see the frontal boundary has moved off the coast. We're in good shape for now, but again, humidity builds in. We'll stay in those low 80s, we think, all the way through your weekend. But the difference, rain chances. We're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. Stick around. The 4 to 5 continues right after this.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Well, the end of summer is here. Maybe you are firing up the grill for Labor Day. We have some newly released Google data that took a look at the top foods grilled by each state. Can you guess what North Carolina's top choice was? I was surprised by this one, but it's grilled shrimp. Yeah, in South Carolina, grilled lobster tail recipes topped the searches. In Tennessee, it was grilled salmon. Virginia was looking for grilled shrimp as well. And then grilled chicken, salmon, and zucchini topped the grilled recipe searches in every state. Very interesting, Eric.
I'm not sure I believe that, but okay, we'll go with it right now. So I asked you on Facebook, I wanted to see what you guys are up to, maybe what you grilled over the weekend, but I just said, what's on your grill? Here's what you had to say. And boy, we had some answers today. I'll give you that much. They were all over the place. Leah says, about to start grilling, chicken, corn on the cob, and whatever else we can find to throw on there. Angie Smith says steaks and brats. Well, that sounds good. Teresa says, I was going to join you, Eric. Bring it on, sister. We got room. Candace says, I'm going to pretend I cooked out and go get hot dogs and hamburgers from my favorite place. That might be the best way to do it. What's on Rick Clark's grill? Well, he says char and rust, unfortunately. Not going to be grilling anytime soon. Wanda says, we are cooking filet mignon on the grill. Fancy pants, Wanda. I like that. All that sounds good to me, Maddie.
I like Candace's style. I'm just going to pretend that I grilled, but I'm going to go out and buy the hamburgers and the hot dogs.
You could look at your grill and think about all the things you could do and then go out and buy it. In the next half hour, I just want to tease ahead real quick. So I'd seen I did a lot of research recently about cleaning the grill because mine was overdue. And I found it's almost like a two-test. We're doing like a two-test. Tanya will probably love this. To test a common household product that all of us have versus some products that I usually buy and use that are specialty items. So anyway, we'll talk about that later.
I mean, I think the question remains, both Teresa and I want to know, are you grilling? And is there extra? And can you just leave me a little doggy bag?
So here's what happened. Leslie took the kids to the pool. And she said, I think I'm going to stay there and we're going to come back and I don't feel like cooking. And I said, okay. I said, well, you know what? If you're not going to, I don't have to do the grill. And she said, Domino's. I said, all right, that's it.
Ooh.
Easy.
You know,
Right
I really
here.
was going to cook. I even got groceries delivered earlier today, but now I'm not in the mood. So it's going to be a takeout night all around here on the 4 to 5. Maybe you can get behind that as well. Let us know in the comments section what's for dinner, because that's what we do here. And it's a holiday, so we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. Hard to believe, but we're just 3 days away from the start of the NFL season, and now we're starting to hear more about how the league plans to keep everybody safe and healthy. They're going to continue to test everyone for the coronavirus during the regular season, except on game days. Pre-game coronavirus exams will happen the day before games, and they have to be done before teams can travel. Other precautions for the season include a mask recommendation for all players on the sidelines, no access to the team's facilities the day after a game for anyone unless they need medical attention or if the team has a short week. Also, no traveling to an away game on the day of the game. And finally, they want to lower the number of people who participate in the coin toss to 1 person per team, and anyone who participates has to wear a face covering. Meanwhile, the Tokyo Olympics will go on next year regardless of where we are in the fight against coronavirus. That's according to the International Olympic Committee Vice President. Now, the Olympics have never been canceled outside of world wars, but the games were postponed this year because of the pandemic. Japanese officials said the games would not be postponed a second time. A task force has been established to create different scenarios to host the games in 2021, and that group met for the first time last week. Olympic officials are hoping to fill the stands with fans if the games do happen next year. They're slated to begin July 23rd.
So we'll keep talking about sports right now. How about this? Novak Djokovic was kicked out of the U.S. Open for hitting a line judge in the throat with a ball. Now, this was by accident, by the way. He was walking to the sideline during a changeover when he kind of angrily smacked the ball back behind him, but it just happened to hit the line judge, who dropped to her knees, grabbing her throat. The tournament referee says even though it was unintentional, the line judge was hurt, and that's enough to support the decision against Djokovic. Djokovic did shake hands with his opponent and also later apologized on social media, saying he's just going to use this moment for growth in his career. I actually, when I heard about this and I saw the video, because it was all over Twitter, it was a total accident. So I'm not sure about throwing him out of the game. It wasn't like he smacked it up into the crowd or anything really hard. He just it didn't look all that hard, but when a ball hits you right in the middle of the throat, obviously it doesn't take much.
Right, by the #1 tennis player in the world, who's frustrated,
right,
so you know
right.
It has to be. But he did hit it behind him. He wasn't looking at the line judge. And that apology on social media, I do feel like he's being sincere in that, Eric. It's unfortunate that he was removed from the U.S. Open. At the same time, we've seen this countless number of times. There's a certain protocol and etiquette that has to happen on tennis courts, and the referees do hold those players to that standard, even if they are one of the best in the world.
And he was an overwhelming #1 too. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure he'll be just fine. He'll bounce right back. All right, before we go to break, we want to take a moment here and honor the life of former Baseball Hall of Famer. A lot of you remember Lou Brock. Brock, known for his hitting record and especially stealing the bases. He led the St. Louis Cardinals to win 3 pennants and 2 World Series in 1960s. He stole 938 bases in his career. He was amazing. In 1974, he stole 118 bases alone. Brock was 81 years old. The 4 to 5 will be right back. love this story today. How about this? A walk down a grocery aisle turned into a walk down the wedding aisle for one South Carolina couple. Only in South Carolina. Sabrina and Mervyn held their wedding ceremony Saturday in Columbia at Trader Joe's. The couple legally married in July, but they wanted to hold the ceremony in the place where they met. Sabrina met Mervyn when she was an employee at Trader Joe's back in 2018. The two met in the frozen aisle, so that's where they retied the knot over the weekend. Sabrina's co-workers put together the ceremony, and of course, the reception followed the ceremony. Where else? In the break room.
He even wore the Hawaiian printed shirt. All right, another sweet story out of Dallas really has my name written all over it. I can't believe I didn't know about this sooner, but a baker is giving people a safe and fast way to satisfy their sweet tooth. Cake Bar saw a drop in customers after the pandemic started, like many businesses across the nation. So the owner decided to try something new, a cake vending machine. Yes. How fast can I get to Dallas here? They installed the old sandwich machine outside of the shop, but instead of sandwiches, they put in cakes by the slice. Now, she said she wasn't expecting to have a line down the sidewalk 30 minutes after opening that machine. Customers can walk up and pay with cash or card. The vending machine is so popular that she says she's receiving emails about franchising her idea. She plans to install a second machine right beside the first one, and it will hold entire cakes. Eric, let's book a flight. Let's see what this is about.
I am in. We have got to figure out a way to get that in the break room. That is for sure. I might put one of those in my house, actually. Let's take a look at the radar, see what's happening there. Most of the rain is to the south and east of us. I don't think we'll see much of this today. Even tomorrow is kind of a stretch, but we'll throw a 20% chance, and we do see our winds shifting a little bit tomorrow. More humidity comes in, so a greater chance that you might squeeze out a little shower here or there, maybe even a thunderstorm or two. Here's what it looks like on the surface map with the high pressure moving off the coast. Our winds will start to shift a little bit out of the south. I think, again, it brings in more humidity, but all that really does is just keep our rain chances kind of even as we head into Tuesday. Now, Wednesday and heading into the weekend, the rain chances go back up again. In fact, there's a chance we could end up with 60% chance of showers. That could happen on Thursday. Let's hold it at a 50 to 60, which is an elevated chance. That's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we stay in the low 80s all the way through your weekend. Saturday, Sunday, that's back to normal, partly cloudy with a 40% chance of a late day shower.
Hey, mic check. Before we get to the season opener, the Panthers have to get their 53-man roster ready. Head coach Matt.
Hey, ice cold milk and a Oreo. Hey, can you talk to me a little bit more? Because my IFB is going in and out. Yeah, it must just be my cord. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner here with Eric Chilton. As always, the 4 to 5 is an interactive show. We are live streaming right now on all social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, to name a few. Join our conversations in those comment sections, and we'd love to chat with you throughout the show. Well, let's start this half hour by getting you caught up with your 4 to 5 roundup. Police in Portland, Oregon are bracing for protests to escalate today and tonight, with demonstrators and counter-demonstrators expected to be out in full force. Saturday marked the city's 100th consecutive night of protests demanding racial justice. Nearly 60 people were arrested, reportedly the highest number since protests began in May. Police used tear gas to clear the streets, and a man was nearly engulfed in flames as protesters threw fire bombs. Protest organizers have been calling for substantial cuts to Portland's police budget. Well, after 5 nights of protests, the mayor of Rochester, New York, is promising to reform the city's police department. Demonstrators are responding to the death of Daniel Prude, who lost consciousness after police officers held him down with a hood over his head. Mayor Lovely Warren says they will move money from the police department's budget to the city's Department of Youth and Recreation Services. The police chief spoke at the same news conference and said he supports the need for reform in his department and will work with experts to get help for people with mental health issues that bring them into repeated contact with officers. Jacob Blake, the black man who was shot 7 times in the back by police in Wisconsin, shared a message from his hospital bed. In the video shared on social media, Blake told people to change their lives out there. He said he is in pain and it hurts to breathe, sleep, and move. The shooting left Blake paralyzed. It also sparked nationwide protests, including deadly demonstrations in both Kenosha and Portland. The Department of Justice is now investigating that shooting. And the next time you need to catch a bus in Winston-Salem, pay close attention to the bus shelter. The Public Art Commission installed 12 artistic shelters around the city. It is their way of improving the experience of public transit. A dozen different local artists worked on the new colorful shelters, and you can find a map of them on the city's Facebook page.
So 11 students at Northeastern University, which is in Boston, were actually dismissed from the school recently for violating COVID-19 policies. We hear about this time again with colleges around the country, but the students were all freshmen, by the way. They were caught last week gathering in a hotel room that is currently housing students. They were told they were not any longer a part of the university community for the semester. That, according to the school, the students were part of an international exchange program. The cost for one semester is nearly $37,000 and will not be refunded, according to the Boston Globe. They had to leave the hotel within 24 hours and be tested for COVID before they left. All right, the coronavirus pandemic put a halt to a lot of travel, of course. It left a lot of us just second guessing, should we even be taking any trips at all? For anybody taking trips, there's more to consider at this time. You're talking about travel restrictions, safety, and other logistics. But have you ever heard of this? Travel shaming. It is a real thing here and something you might want to consider. That is when you share your travel plans with people and then they ask if it's necessary or even responsible to be traveling right now. It makes you feel bad for doing it. Experts say shaming is on the rise because people are trying to get others to conform to this new normal as officials try to enforce things such as masks. One professor says people are using social media to police others. Another reason experts say that travel shaming happens is envy. When someone cancels a trip to see a loved one, they might feel upset or find it unfair when they see others traveling. I have heard about this, and a lot of people, they won't do it to your face, but they sure will do it on social media and insinuate, that I have a friend who did such and such. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, I definitely have seen this happen. I feel like there's been a lot of social media shaming throughout all of this. And it's unfortunate because if you do have an issue with someone, if you feel like their actions are putting you in danger, then you should just have a conversation with that person. There's no need to subtweet or talk to your friend about it and try to make them feel bad for doing something. I think education, not shame, is the best policy with this thing. So yeah, I've seen it happen for sure. Sad.
And if you're worried about that with somebody, then you just, stay away, give them some distance for a couple of weeks. And, everybody can do their own thing. I agree with you. That's the coward's way out, is just to type and hide behind the keyboard. Don't.
Yeah, All right, well, maybe people are traveling to Colorado. I personally wouldn't recommend it right now. They're preparing for an unexpected cold snap in the middle of the summer. This is bizarre to me. Temperatures are expected to drop dramatically tonight. It will be potentially below freezing in the Denver area. Now, currently, Denver is on a more than 70-day streak for temperatures above 90 degrees. So just think about that. 90 degrees. And then we're going to below freezing. Rain and snow is expected to move in around 11 o'clock tonight. Eric, I'm so glad I don't live in Denver right now.
You know, that sounds like us in late September, early October, though. It does. We're all over the place, especially October. Let's talk about our forecast locally. Looking okay in the short term. 62 will be the low tonight. We're probably not going to see much in the way of a cloud or two overnight. 62, of course, the morning low, so you see that tomorrow. Then 83 degrees. It will be a little more humid tomorrow. You'll notice that kind of right out of the gate. When you look at the satellite and radar combination, we're in great shape today. Again, tomorrow, that 20% chance, it really shouldn't amount to a whole lot, we don't think. The high pressure moves off the coast. Our winds will shift a little bit. Again, it just brings in more humidity, which for us usually means just a slight rain chance. So that's what we'll have tomorrow, 20%. Now, elevated rain chances for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Is it total washouts? Probably not, but the chance of seeing a scattered shower or an increased chance of that does exist, especially for Thursday and Friday. But it's a 50 to 60% chance each day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, high stay around 81 to 83. Same story this weekend, but it's a more normal 40% late day pop-up shower or storm.
All right, NFL football season, it is fast approaching. The Carolina Panthers have their first game this Sunday at Bank of America Stadium. The Las Vegas Raiders are coming to Charlotte. The Panthers, though, still finalizing their roster over the weekend. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson has more about their moves.
Maddie, before we get to that season opener, the Carolina Panthers have to finalize their roster. Head coach Matt Rule talking to us today, saying that the guys who have made the roster have worked really hard, and it's been tough to let some of those guys go. But unfortunately, that's what has to happen every year. The team waiving quite a few guys, but here's a look at some you may recognize. Running back Reggie Bonifant, he rushed for 116 yards and 1 touchdown last season. Defensive end F.A. Obata, who played in 26 games the past 2 years, and safety Kenny Robinson, who they drafted in the 5th round this year. And here's the guys they picked up in the past few days. Most notably, former Eagles cornerback Rasul Douglas. He played in every game last season with Philadelphia, starting 6 of them. Today, the Panthers re-signing tight end Colin Thompson. Now they have 3 tight ends on their roster. Head coach Matt Rule shares his thoughts on the team as a whole right now.
There's a real emphasis on special teams players. You can't just give lip service to special teams. You have to put players out there that are going to run and cover and do good things on special teams. We're certainly a young football team with some great veteran leaders, and I'm pleased with the way it went. We claimed guys that we thought we needed to claim that would help us, and had to make tough decisions.
You can catch the Panthers season opening game against the Raiders right here on WFMY News 2, your official station of the Carolina Panthers. Kickoff is 1 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, that's the sound that you want to hear, right? Anytime you put your key into the ignition. This, though, is not the sound that I heard when I cranked my car 2 Mondays ago. It was not.
On a Monday,
On a Monday! I know, it makes you do this.
So I'm guessing, did you jump your car? Did you have it towed somewhere? What happened?
So a neighbor had one of those portable jump box things, which I am a fan of, and I am going to order one, yes.
That was the lesson learned in this?
Well, that, and I started calling places to get a battery price, and they said, well, what size battery do you need? And I just thought, aren't all batteries the same size? Like they fit into the little square thing? But no.
Make sure you know the correct size of your battery. You can find it on the battery itself or by looking it up online. All you need to know is your car's year, make, and model.
Here's something else that I did not know. Batteries can lose strength just sitting on the shelf. You want a battery that is made within a 3-month window of the manufacturer date of when you buy it. So you're going to want to look for the code on the battery. Consumer Reports best battery picks tonight at 5:30. Now, don't miss this.
I'd be surprised if most people don't get a call from somebody pretending to be Social Security in the next couple months. You really got to watch out.
You really do have to watch out. The bad guys are definitely convincing. If you get a call claiming your number has been compromised, I got to tell you, it is absolutely a scam.
Okay, I am talking about what to do when you have a snafu in front of a lot of people, because that happened to me this morning.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. All right, imagine you muster up the courage to give a presentation, talk in an interview, and you mess up. But you mess up live, other people are watching you, you start to feel embarrassed. Blanca Cobb and I are going to talk about that today. I don't have to imagine that because it happens pretty often. But Blanca, you say that you had an experience like this, a snafu on air this morning. I'm sure it wasn't bad, but tell us about it.
Yes, I did, Maddie. So I am talking about how your mood changes when the seasons change, and I draw a blank. I don't remember what I was going to say. So I just smile like I am right now. I wait a couple of seconds and I start talking. And when I start talking again, then I start talking about these feel-good hormones. And then I combine two names together, two different hormones, and turn it into one name. And so I was feeling like really hot under the collar, so to speak. I was quite embarrassed.
Yeah, but it happens to everyone, right? We all make mistakes. So we want to talk about some tips to help people when they make a mistake. Maybe they're speaking in public or they're giving a presentation. You know the moment when you realize that you've messed up. So how do you handle that feeling, Blanca?
The first thing to do is to stay calm. And it's very hard because when you feel like everyone's eyes are on you, it's like, right? Did somebody notice? Did somebody not notice? But you don't want to panic. Take a few seconds to collect your thoughts and then move on. Just pick up where you left off. Or another approach could be you can just let everybody know what happened. Hey, I just lost my train of thought, and this is what I meant to say.
Yeah, and for me, I know like once I've messed up, I can't recover as quickly because I can't remember what I was going to say, Blanca. So do you have any tips for trying to recall that information?
Actually, I do.
Oh, good.
One is to take a deep breath. What happens when you get nervous or fearful? It's like you hold your breath, but you're not getting any oxygen into your muscles or into your brain. Actually take a breath. And then what you can do when you're trying to remember, then shift your weight a little bit. Go to the right or the left, or actually take a step. And so what happens, it's like it's a nonverbal snap out of it. because you're changing that energy. Your mind isn't fixated on that mistake that you just made, because you're moving in a different direction. It helps you take the focus from that mistake to something different, and more than likely that will help you get back on track.
Subtle distraction. It's funny because I am way more nervous when I'm talking in groups of people, like a public speaking event, than I am on television. It's probably because I do this every day and I don't talk to a big group of people every day. So I will use these, Blanca, if that ever comes up again. Very helpful. By the way, if you missed anything that Blanca said, you can find it on our website, WFMYnews2.com. You can also connect with her on Facebook. The 4 to 5, we'll be right back.
Hi there, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California.
Hi there, Mike. Checky 1, checky 2, checky 3. You know, as summer winds down, it might be time to give the old grill a good cleaning. But so I did a little online research because I'm doing this myself. And I said, I need to do this. And I said, was there some way cheaper to do this? And I found a lot of people using a common household product instead of buying a cleaner. I usually buy the cleaner. So I decided to test this out against each other on different sides of my grill. Here is my completely unscientific experiment. Yeah, so if you're like me, when you open up the grill, almost every time you just look at it and go, I don't want to do this again. So we're going to show you these two methods and see which one goes first. I use just a brush, you know, to start things out. That's kind of the easy thing to do, right? But now we're going to test these two products. One is just a regular grill grate cleaner that you can buy. They're about $6 to $8 for a bottle of it. The other is just common baking soda with water. So you mix it up. It would be 3 parts baking soda to 1 part water, however much you want to make. And that's it, right? Pretty cheap. Baking soda, what, $1 at the store, roughly? So you look at the grates. I'm gonna pick my 2 worst grates and put them to the test. So standard grate cleaner. All right, there you go. Time to rinse it off with the hose now. We'll see what it looks like. So when you look at the difference, the grate cleaner side, the baking soda and water side, I really didn't see a great difference. So the question really just comes down to this. Do you want to spend $6 or $7, $8 for that? Or baking soda and water? I know what I'm doing from now on.
What?
Yes. So I am going to do this because I did. And you know what? I was texting with Tanya Rivera earlier to tell her I was doing this in case she wanted to ever show that as like a 2 test. And she said she uses just half an onion while the grill is still hot, and that works too, plus it smells better. But I will tell you that paste 3-to-1 baking soda water, that it worked.
Yeah, I've heard of the onion trick because we do a lot of those warnings about the wire brushes, and the wires can get left in the grates, and you don't want that to end up in your burger. When you take a big bite, it could hurt you. So that's cool that you did this, Eric, and you're saving us some money, which is good.
Yeah, I like it, and now I know I'm cheap. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on.
All right, stay right there, Eric, because I asked people how they were spending their Labor Day on my Facebook page. A couple of people said that they were grilling out, including Greg Klein, who said he was enjoying this awesome weather. It is beautiful outside, and he's home grilling hamburgers. Sounds great. Gia Webster also grilling this evening. She says, with one friend, no big party over here this year. Our circle of friends has become limited due to the pandemic, but to be honest, I kind of like it smaller. It's more peaceful. Bobby Odom said he's been extremely busy the last 3 months working, so today he's relaxing and being lazy, doing absolutely nothing. He might get a workout in. Bobby is watching right now on Facebook. He's in the chat section of our live stream. So, hey, Bobby, we see you. Thanks for joining us. Todd A. Pearson says, nothing has changed ever. I go to work every day, come home, work in the yard, go to my wood shop, go to the grocery store, go to the hardware store. All is good. Mary Catherine Patterson said she was heading to Hanging Rock to go hiking on Labor Day. Angela Adams, she's relaxing. She just got her hot tub fixed. She says just in time for this cooler weather. And Christy Bledsoe Brady was heading to the Greensboro Science Center with her niece and her mom. So people are enjoying their days off.
That's perfect. That's what you should do. Just take it easy and relax. See, now that we're minutes away from the end of our day, Maddie, we can go ahead and chill for a little bit.
You see, that's the case for you, Eric. I am lucky enough I get to stick around and be part of the 5 and 6 o'clock show tonight.
I did not know that.
So you can watch from home.
I will. I will text you during and try to make you laugh. All right, that's what we do. Shall we talk about a forecast? I want to give you a little bit of a kind of a peek into the tropics, even though this one is in the middle of nowhere, so don't worry about it yet. But you can see the Cape Verde Islands here. So this is literally in the middle of the Atlantic. It is Tropical Storm Paulette, though, with winds at 40 miles per hour. This one is heading in the general direction, to the west toward the United States, but a lot of distance between us and this, and most of the models keep this as tropical storm strength. I don't think we'll have to worry about too much, or at least not in the short term. Even by Saturday, it looks like it's making a little bit of a turn to the north. We will let you know about that. Otherwise, for tonight, look for clear and cool conditions. 62 should be our overnight low. Winds fairly light out of the northeast, and that sunset at 7:38. Now, tomorrow, notice the temperatures. We're going to hover in the low 80s, I think, for the entire 7-day forecast. In fact, if you did a range, it would probably only be about 80 to 83 every single day for high temperatures, which means our lows are usually in the 60s. More humid tomorrow, and we do bring a rain chance back in, even though today's pretty much dry. It's a 20% chance for tomorrow. Here's a look at your 7-day, the extended outlook. Rain chances go on the increase, though. That'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday especially. You're looking at a 50 to 60% chance of rain each day. Again, those highs 81 to 83. Moving into your weekend, that's more of a normal summertime forecast there. 81 to 82 for Saturday, Sunday, although we're starting to drop, aren't we? We're seeing these temperatures trail off. 40% chance of a late day shower or storm on Saturday, Sunday. And for Monday of next week, it's only a 30%. That actually ends up being a pretty nice day with partly cloudy skies and a high of 83.
While many are celebrating a day off, plenty are searching for a job. We're digging deeper into the virus's impact on Triad workers. It's next on WFMY News 2 at 5.
Hey, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check, check, check. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Well, what's usually a day off was a happy day for some. The owner of Rockbox Bouldering is open.
Pillows, because I've noticed that the pillows that I have hurt my neck.
Hey, mic check. We are live in front of Guilford County Schools, GCS headquarters, talking about live learning starting tomorrow. They're going to incorporate it. Can you hear me? What are you saying?
So I've been trying out new pillows.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
The last person to log in, so I figured you could help, period. Alabama, Alaska. Oh, shoot, I did Alabama, Alaska in this talk to text.
The dangers of talk to text. They get everything. Those robots, that's Siri. It is time for my 2 cents. Happy Labor Day. I hope those of you who had the day off enjoyed your time away from the office. Like most things in 2020, Labor Day feels different. Many of you are still working from home. Some of you have been going full throttle since March. You were deemed essential and you haven't had a break. Labor Day is meant to celebrate the achievements of American workers. And while our achievements during this pandemic certainly look different, they're also worth a mention. Healthcare workers, delivery drivers, grocery store employees, farmers, factory workers, those in the food industry, and so many others who have kept us safe and our lives up and running throughout all of this, thank you. Your jobs have always taken a level of sacrifice, but this year, during a health crisis, you've risked even more. Those of you who are working from home, parenting your kids, taking care of your house, or just having to concentrate on your job despite very noisy neighbors, you deserve a high five too. You have more on your plate than you likely expected, and you're making it work. Yeah, that deserves some recognition. So whether you have some time off today or you're on the job as usual, thank you for working hard, for facing the challenges that this year has thrown at us, and for being resilient. That's my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Labor Day is meant to celebrate social and economic achievements of workers, but this Labor Day comes as workers face a challenging year.
Absolutely. The latest figures show around 10% of Triad workers are unemployed, all while essential workers risk their health every day to bring us the services that we need.
WFMY News 2's Grace Holland heard from one of the